In this video, I am going to talk about a sequential data structure in Python which is called lists. There are three sequential data structures in Python. These are lists, sets and tuples. And today we are talking about lists. For those who are coming from other languages, lists are more or less somewhat similar to arrays but different. And furthermore, I would like to emphasize here is that Python also has got an array data structure. Right now I am here into VS Code and going to write all the codes here. You may be using IDLE or Jupyter Notebook or whatever, but all these codes should be running in them as well fine. Hello, welcome to my channel Simple Easy Python and my name is Prem. Let us assume why the very first question that comes to my mind is that why do I need another data structure? We have already gone through strings. If you have not watched my video for strings, then I will give an iCard above and you can go and check it out. Why do we need lists? Let us say there is a class of 10 students and we need to store the marks of all the 10 students. So one way is that okay, I am going to create a 10 variables for all the 10 students, like Peter is 50, Mark is let us say 52, Susan, she has got let us say 60, 70 and something like that. So and now if I have to print for all these students, 10 students, I have to use the print statement 10 times like this, Peter, and then I have to use print for Mark and so on and so forth. But up to for 10 students maybe probably you can manage it, but if there are more students, if let us say if there are hundreds of students and if it is an big university or something like that, then there could be thousands of students. How do you manage? And here comes lists in Python to our rescue. With this background, I am going to start into the list, what are the lists and what lists are not, and let us see how we can create a list, how can we define the list and so forth. Multiple ways in which a list can be created in Python, and I am going to show here the most common way that we use to create a list. So I am going to define a variable called lst, put here two square brackets, one closing and one opening, and let's start putting down some figures. 55, 57, again 55. Let us throw in some names: Peter, Susan, Rob, once again Susan. Let us put here some booleans as well: true, false, etc. This way we can create a list. This is the simplest way that we can create a list here. How do we check if it is a list? We can do something like this: print type and pass in the variable name, and here you will see it is going to type me a class list. Here you can see it is class list. How does it look like when I print it out? Simple, print lst, and let's see how it is looking. Here you see it is printed exactly the way it was input. Now if you pay close attention to the way I have defined the list here, here you can see that okay, the list is having 55 two times. Second thing here is that it is having numerals, strings and booleans, everything. We can in fact put here something called, let us say, floats as well, 3.14, and it will, Python is not going to object here, it is not going to raise any exception here. I mean to say, here you see again it is printed the way it was entered. So what does it mean here? It means, it tells me couple of things. Number one, Python list can have multiple types of elements into it. So this is the difference for those folks who are coming from other languages like C or Java, where the array, or even in fact also in Python, if you are creating an array, it can have elements only of one type, but lists are altogether a different thing. It can have elements of multiple types, so these are called heterogeneous. List is heterogeneous in structure. Number two, you can see here is that okay, we can have duplicate elements. 55 is repeated 2 times, Peter here is okay, it is 1 time, Susan is 2 times. So it means that list is allowing me to have duplicate elements. Number 3, here if you see, if it is a numeral, I have not enclosed it within any string, sorry, quotes, not a string. So numerals are not enclosed within any quotes, but characters, these are enclosed within either single quote like Susan or double quotes like Peter. You can use any of the quotes. In fact, other than character type, anything other than that, it cannot, there is no need for an enclosing quote. What else? What else does it tell? When we are printing it, if you pay attention here, it is printed the way it is entered. Now it means that Python lists are ordered. So the order in which they have been input or they have been entered, the same order is in the output. Next thing, yeah, one thing here I forgot to tell again for the folks who are coming from other languages, that okay, since the lists can have elements of different types, there is no need to explicitly define it like int and then the array name. Once we are defining array in Python using either numpy or importing the array module, we have to do there it also, but not in case of lists. So that's the difference. So far lists are more or less looking like our what you call strings, but there is a one big difference between string and list. Strings are immutable, whereas lists are mutable. When I say mutable, it means that okay, you can change in or modify the elements of a list after you have defined it. For example, if I go here and say, instead of I am accessing here the first element using the 0 index, indexing and slicing I will be covering into the coming videos. So now I am going to change it from 55 to let us say 86, and then if I print list again, and what happens, let me clear the terminal first and then I am going to run it again. So this is the list that you are seeing, that was our original list that we have entered over here, 55, 57, 55 again, and this is the way it has been printed. Now on line number 4 I changed the first element, that is at index 0, from 55 to 86. So now here it is our modified list, you can see it here. Here the first element is 86. So it means that it proves that okay, lists can be mutated or they are mutable. I have tried to put everything regarding lists into some presentation, so you can just we can go through it. Lists are collection of data separated using comma, which we have indeed done. They can be created using square brackets. That is the most popular way. There are other ways also, but okay, this is the most common way. Lists can have elements of different types. We have seen that okay, our list LST, it had elements of type integer, string and floats and boolean, everything. If the elements are of type string, then they need to be enclosed within quotes, and these quotes can be either single quote or double quote. Lists are mutable, that we just saw. They are ordered. When I say ordered, I have already explained. When you are printing it, it is being printed into the same order in which they have been input. That is what I mean by ordered, not sorted. Ordered and sorted are two different things. Indexed, that is something I am going to discuss in coming videos, and slicing, and they may have duplicate elements. And lastly, if you really wish to create an empty list, it can be created something like this. Let us call it empty list is equal to, just use 2 square brackets and it will be an empty list. Now I am going to print it and it is going to print simple, you see here. Let me clear the terminal first and then let us check it out. Here you see it is just 2 square brackets and nothing else, and this is the way how you create an empty list, the most convenient way, although there are other ways as well. So this is for it. So this was a small introduction to lists here. Yeah, in coming video I am going to talk about the list methods. Lists have got 11 associated methods and I am going to discuss them into the next video. If you find this video useful, if you find it Okay, this is going to help you, then consider giving it a like and subscribing to my channel, and share it with your friends who are pursuing a Python course. Till then, happy coding.